Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, guys, we are going to get started with the grade 12 mathematical literacy paper 2 that was written by the Gauteng province learners in September 2022, right? And this is a paper that is great to just prepare you guys for your paper 2 mathematical literacy prelim. Okay, before you get started, guys, with today's video tutorial, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, guys. Please do not watch these video tutorials without being subscribed. If you really appreciate the content, guys, please click on that subscribe button. Okay, so without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. So guys, before you even get started with your prelims, it's very important, okay, that you have a look at the instructions and the information that is given to you guys, right? That gives you information on what is given to you guys in your paper, right? And that also gives you information or instructions on how you are supposed to round off, okay? I'm just going to focus particularly on point number 2 as well as point number 6 and point number 7. Those are very important, guys, right? In point number 2, it says that use annexures in the addendum to answer the following question. Okay, they tell you that annexure A is for question 2.2, annexure B is for question 4.2, annexure C is for question 5.1, and annexure D is for question 5.2. Okay, so please make sure that when you're looking at these questions, you are using the given annexures, right? Okay, then they also tell you to number your answers correctly according to the numbering system used in this question paper, right? So if they give you question 4.1.1, guys, write it as question 4.1.1. Don't write it as question 4.1. So number your answers correctly, okay? Start the answer to each question on a new page, okay? So when you're dealing with a new question started on a new page, right? You may use an approved calculator. Show all calculations clearly. Guys, with mathematical literacy, you need to show all the bits and pieces of how you basically got to your final answer, because that really counts marks, okay? So if you're going to just skip steps, okay, you are going to lose marks. So you need to show all calculations clearly so that you can get your marks accordingly, okay? But I'm going to show you how they mark certain questions so that you know how you are expected to answer these questions. Number 7 says round off all final answers appropriately according to the given context unless stated otherwise, okay? So for example, if a particular question says round off this question to 2 decimal places, you need to round off to 2 decimal places. If it hasn't specified on whether you should round it off to 2 decimal places or round it off to 3 decimal places, show every single digit and just round off the final answer to 2 decimal places, okay? Indicate the units of measurements, okay, guys? If you're doing calculations where you are calculating area, perimeter, grams, you need to show the units of measurement, okay? Maps and diagrams. This one is very important, number 9. Maps and diagrams are not drawn to scale, right, unless stated otherwise, so keep that in mind. And number 10, please write neatly and legibly, okay? Do not write like you are in a car that's on gravel road, okay? Write neatly, guys, so you make the life of the person that's marking your paper easy, okay? You don't want a person to be like squinting when they are marking your paper, okay? So instructions, guys, are very important. You need to have a look at the instructions and information before you get started with your test paper, okay? So now let's get started with what you guys came here for, right? In this question, or in this video tutorial, guys, we are going to be having a look at question 1.1. Question 1.1 is just us interpreting information that is given to us, right? We're going to be looking at question 1.2. Question 1.2 deals with conversions, right? We are going to be converting feet to meters using this given conversion. And in question 1.3, Guys, we're going to be converting minutes to hours. We're going to be converting grams to kilograms. And there is also a ratios question. Okay, guys, please make sure that you watch this entire video tutorial, right? Question 1.1 says study the information and the map below and answer the questions that follow. Okay, it says that the Suez Canal is an artificial sea level waterway running 193 kilometers between Port Said in the north and Suez in the south. Okay, the Suez Canal offers a shorter route for major ships carrying cargo around the world. Construction of the Suez Canal started on the 25th of September 1859 and was first opened in 1869. When first opened, the canal was 8 meters deep, 22 meters wide at the bottom, and 61 to 91 meters wide at the surface. To allow ships to pass each other, passing bays were built every 8 to 10 kilometers. The map below shows the Suez Canal and its surrounding areas. Okay, so we are given the map below. Okay, and this map basically shows us the Suez Canal. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay, so this is our Suez Canal. Okay, and the surrounding areas is your Mediterranean Sea, the continent Asia, continent Africa, and the country Egypt, as well as the Red Sea. Okay, we are also given a compass here, right, which we are also going to use in certain questions. So please take note of that compass that is given to us. All right, so let's have a look at the first question. Question 1.1.1. Identify the country that borders the Suez Canal on the western side. Okay, so we want to basically determine the country that borders the Suez Canal on the western side. Okay, so I already highlighted the Suez Canal with the yellow highlighter there, right? So which country on the western side borders the Suez Canal, right? So basically here, guys, please don't say Africa. Africa is not a country, it's a continent, okay? However, we do have a country that is given to us here that borders, right, the Suez Canal. And which country is that that borders the Suez Canal? We can see on the western side, that country is Egypt. Okay, so we're going to write that answer down. Question 1.1, right? That country that borders the Suez Canal is Egypt. Question 1.1.2. Write down the names of the continents separated by the Suez Canal, right? So we do have our Suez Canal here, right? Okay. So what are the continents that are separated by the Suez Canal, right? So we've got two continents here that are separated by the Suez Canal. We've got the continent Africa that is separated by the Suez Canal, and we also have the continent Asia, right? That is separated by the Suez Canal. So we're going to basically write that down. Question 1.1.3. Identify the sea that is found on the southern side of the Suez Canal, right? So what is that sea, right, that is found on the southern side of the Suez Canal, right? There's only one sea that is found on the south side of the Suez Canal, right? And we can already see that that sea there that is found on the south side of the Suez Canal is the Red Sea. Question 1.1.4. Write down the distance between the city at the south of the Suez Canal and the city at the north of the Suez Canal, right? With these type of questions, please do not panic. Everything that you will need is going to be given in the information that was provided in your paragraph. Okay, so you don't have to crack your skull. Literally everything that you need is given here. All that you need to do is you need to obviously highlight important things that are given to you, from this passage, so that when now you read the questions, you can just extract the important information from there. Okay, so what were the two cities that were spoken about here? Okay, so let's go back to the information that was given to us, right? They told us that the Suez Canal is an artificial sea level waterway running 193 kilometers between Port Said in the north and Suez in the south, right? So these are the two cities that they are talking about, right? And the distance between these two cities is given as 193 kilometers. You see, guys, literally everything is given to us here, right? So let's write that down. Let's look at question 1.1.5. Mention one advantage that the ships have when using the Suez Canal, right? Also, the answer is given in this passage. What was the advantage? Why was the Suez Canal built? The answer is given here. The Suez Canal offers a shorter route for major ships carrying cargo around the world. So that is the advantage of having the Suez Canal, is that it offers a shorter route for your major ships. Okay, so we're gonna write that down. Okay, so the Suez Canal offers a shorter route for ships carrying cargo, right? Let's go on to the next question. Question 1.6. Mention any two items that a ship using the Suez Canal could transport. Okay, so here, guys, it's just general knowledge. Okay, you can mention any two items that these big ships usually transport. Okay, so these big ships can transport livestock, they can transport condensed gas, they can transport spices, they can transport cars, right? So any two items, right, would be accepted. Obviously reasonable items, okay, would be accepted as an answer for this question. All right, so I'm gonna write livestock, cars. Right. Question 1.1.7. Give one reason why passing bays were built every 8 to 10 kilometers along the length of the canal, right? Our answer is literally in our passage. Why were passing bays built? Okay, passing bays, right? So we see here passing bays. The sentence talks about passing bays, right? So passing bays were built to allow ships to pass each other. Literally, we're gonna write that down. Okay. Question 1.1.8. Determine the number of years it took for the Suez Canal to be opened to maritime traffic from the time construction began, right? Our answer is in the passage, right? Construction of the Suez Canal started in on the 25th of September 1859 and was first opened in 1869. So if you basically get the difference between those 2 years, right? If you take 1869, you minus 1859, you'll get that construction basically took 10 years. All right, so we are going to write that down. All right, and we are basically done with question 1.1. Okay, so question 1.1, guys, was just us interpreting information that was given to us, right? And the tip here is just when you're looking at these type of questions, right, just highlight all the information, all the important information that is given to you, okay? And then from there, it just makes it easy for you to extract all the important points that are given. Okay, so let me just quickly show you how they would mark a question like this, right? So here you'll just get 2 marks for saying Egypt, okay? You'll get 1 mark for Africa, 1 mark for Asia, okay? You'll get 2 marks for saying the Red Sea. The Red Sea is a name, needs to be in capital letters, okay? You'll get 2 marks for saying 193 kilometers. Question 1.1.5, you will get 2 marks for saying that the Suez Canal offers a shorter route for ships carrying cargo. Okay, question 1.1.6, you'll get 1 mark for maybe saying livestock, another mark for saying cargo. Okay. Question 1.1.7, you'll get 2 marks for the explanation that you've basically given. Okay. And question 1.1.8, you'll get 2 marks for saying 10 years. Okay, so this question was out of 16. Okay, and it's literally an easy 16 marks. All right, let us have a look at question 1.2. All right, question 1.2, guys, deals with conversions. Okay, so we're going to be converting in this question. Okay, so let's have a look. On the 23rd of March 2020, the 1,300 feet long ship called the Evergreen traveled from Asia to Europe. It entered the Suez Canal in the south and sailed north. The ship got stuck in the mud right across the southern part of the canal. So we're still going to be using the map of the Suez Canal here, right, to answer the questions that are given to us in question 1.2. Okay, let's have a look. Question 1.2.1. In which general direction was the Evergreen sailing through the Suez Canal? Right? Okay. We are told that the Evergreen, right, traveled from Asia to Europe, right? And we said that we are told that it entered the Suez Canal in the south and it sailed north. Okay, so here you can basically give your answer as north because we are told that the Evergreen, right, entered in the south and it sailed north. Or in this case, some people would have actually wanted to look at this question practically, okay? Because if we are told that the Evergreen entered south, so this is our south, right? And we are told that it sailed north. Please take a look at my pointer here. It sailed north. So we can actually even say that the Evergreen actually traveled in the northwest direction. Okay, so your examiner will accept an answer of north, right? Because we are told that it entered south and it sailed north. Or your examiner could even accept your answer of northwest. Okay, so both of those answers would be correct. It just depends on if you wanted to be more practical with this one or you just wanted to extract the answer from the passage. Okay, so let's write the answer down. So for question 1.2.1, if you said the northwest direction, that will be accepted. Or if you said north, that will also be accepted as your general direction. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. Question 1.2.2. At which city did the Evergreen enter the Suez Canal, right? We are still using that passage that was given to us, right, to answer this question. And they want you to basically give an answer of which city did the Evergreen enter the Suez Canal. Remember, we are told that the Suez Canal is in between two cities, Port Said, which is the city in the north, and Suez, right, which is a city in the south, right? So in this case, because we are told that the Evergreen entered the Suez Canal on the south side, right, we already know that the city that it entered the Suez Canal with is Suez. Okay, Suez. So we're going to write that down. Next question 1.2.3. The Evergreen is 1,300 feet long. Okay, so that is the length of this ship. Convert the length of this container ship to meters, given that 1 feet is equal to 0.3048 meters. Okay, so we're going to be using this conversion to help us convert the 1,300 feet to meters. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is just write this down. Okay, I made a mistake. This is question 1.2.2. Okay, this is question 1.2.3. Okay, we are told that 1 feet is equal to 0.3048 meters. All right. And we are told that we have to convert this 1,300 feet to meters. So we've got 1,300 feet, right? And we want to convert this length of this container ship to meters, right? Remember, guys, all the time when we're doing our conversions, you multiply by what you want and you divide by what you have using the conversion that are given to us. Okay, and we are told that, okay, 1 feet is equal to 0.3048 meters. Okay, so we're going to multiply by what we want. What do we want? We want our units in meters. So we're going to multiply by 0.3048 meters. And then we are going to divide by what we have. We've got our units in feet. Okay, so 1 feet. We're going to divide by what you have. Okay, so in this case, what do we know, right? That 1,300 feet is the same as saying 1,300 feet divided by 1, okay? So I'm just doing this so that you guys can see which units are canceling, okay? So in this case, feet divided by feet, okay? So the feet cancel, right? Meaning that our final answer is going to be in the units meters. Okay, so 1,300 multiplied by 0.3048 divided by 1 is equal to 396.24 meters. Okay, so we have basically converted the length of this container ship from feet to meters. Okay, and how would they mark question 1.2? Okay, you will get 2 marks for giving the general direction of northwest or north. Okay, so you'll just get 2 marks. If you said northwest, you'll get 2 marks. If you said north, you'll get 2 marks. Okay, so you'll just get 2 marks for either one of those answers you would have provided. Okay, then you'll get 2 marks for saying Suez is the city that the evergreen ship enters the Suez Canal with, right? And question 1.2.3, you'll get 1 mark for obviously saying 1,300 multiplied by 0.3048 and a final mark for your final answer. Okay, so question 1.2 was out of 6 marks. Okay, and that is how the marks will be distributed. All right, let's have a look at question 1.3. In question 1.3, guys, we are basically going to be converting, right? We're going to be doing conversions. So it deals with measurements, okay? We are going to be converting minutes to hours. We are going to be converting grams to kilograms. And we are going to be dealing with ratios, okay? So please make sure that you pay attention, right? Please make sure that you read all informations properly, right? And let's get started with question 1.3. Question 1.3 says the chef on the ship, right, prepared chocolate mousse for the crew members. So I'm guessing for this question, right, the theme is the container ship, the Suez Canal, right? We are basically on a ship. Okay, so the chef on the ship prepared chocolate mousse for the crew members. Study the recipe below that he used and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so here we are given this chocolate mousse recipe, right? And the ingredients that are needed for you to basically create this chocolate. Okay, you need 200 grams of dark chocolate. You need 300 milliliters of brandy, which is optional. You need 3 eggs, whites only. So that means that you basically need to take out the yolk, okay? You need 60 milliliters of castor sugar and you need 100 milliliters of cream. We are told here, or we are given the preparation time and the cooking time and how many people these ingredients will serve. Okay, so the preparation time is 10 minutes, the cooking time is 5 minutes, and these ingredients will serve only 6 people. Okay, then we are given the method. Okay, so we are told that you need to grate 50 grams of dark chocolate, break the rest into small pieces, and melt in a pot. Right? Stir in brandy if you're using brandy. Whisk your egg whites until stiff. Add sugar and whisk until your sugar is smooth. Fold in cream and add 2/3 of the grated dark chocolate. Spoon the mixture into 6 bowls. Sprinkle the remaining grated chocolate and chill in the fridge for 2 hours. Okay, so that is basically how you need to go about making this chocolate mousse. Okay, question 1.3.1. Determine the total time in hours that it will take to prepare and cook the chocolate mousse. Okay, so they just want the time it will take to just prepare and cook the mousse, right? So we're already given here that the preparation time is 10 minutes and we're given that the cooking time is 5 minutes, right? Therefore, the total time that it will basically take to prepare and cook your chocolate mousse, right, is 15 minutes because 10 plus 5 is 15 minutes. However, they said what is the total time in hours, right? So now we need to now convert this time from minutes to hours. Okay, the total time, right, to cook for preparation and for cooking is equal to 10 minutes plus 5 minutes, okay, which is equal to 15 minutes. Okay, however, we want to basically have the total time to cook and your do your preparations in hours, right? So how will we convert these 15 minutes to hours? What do we already know? How many minutes are in an hour, right? So we already know that we've got 60 minutes in 1 hour, right? So 60 minutes, right? And now we are basically going to be using this conversion, right, to help us convert our minutes to hours, right? And then, guys, from here, use what I've always been telling you guys, right? You multiply by what you want and you divide by what you have, right? So we have your 15 minutes, right? You want to convert this 15 minutes. You need to multiply by what do you want? You want your time in hours. So you want to multiply it by your 1 hour. Okay. And then you divide by what you have, right? We've got our units in minutes. So we need to then divide by 60 minutes. Okay. In this case, right, that 15 minutes is the same as saying 15 divided by 1. That 1 there does not change that 15 minutes. I just want a fraction on the left and the fraction on the right so that we can see which units are canceling. In this case, what do we notice? Your minutes and your minutes are canceling because minutes divided by minutes is just 1, right? Therefore, 15 multiplied by 1 divided by 60, right? That is the same as just saying 15 divided by 60 is equal to 1 over 4 hours, right? Or you can just write that as 0.25 hours. Okay. So therefore, the total time that it will take to prepare and cook the chocolate mousse is 0.25 hours. We had to convert the minutes into our hours. Okay, let's have a look at question 1.3.2. Convert the weight of the weight of the dark chocolate to kilograms. Okay, so we are already given what the weight of the dark chocolate is, right? And the weight of the dark chocolate is 200 grams. Okay, so now we want to basically convert those 200 grams to kilograms. Okay, so how do we convert your grams into kilograms? Okay, so I'm going to basically do an in-depth explanation of this concept, right? But I've already done measurements. I've got a video tutorial where I've done measurements. I'm gonna put the thumbnail on the screen so that you know how the thumbnail looks, right? So you can basically have a look, go down to my video tutorials, right? And check out this video where I've done measurements. Okay, however, how do you basically do your mass conversions, right? Okay, you know you've got tons, kilograms, grams, milligrams. Okay, if you want to move from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, right? When we are doing our mass conversions, if you want to move from a ton to a kilogram, you multiply by 1,000. If you want to move from a kilogram to grams, you multiply by 1,000. If you want to move from grams to milligrams, you multiply by 1,000. If you basically want to move from a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you basically do the inverse of the operation we did at the top, right? So because we basically multiplied by 1,000 at the top, that means that at the bottom we need to then divide by 1,000. If you want to move from milligrams to grams, we need to divide by 1,000. If you want to move from grams to kilograms, and we want to divide by 1,000 if you want to move from kilograms to tons. Okay, meaning we want to basically convert 200 grams of our dark chocolate, okay, to kilograms. So what do we need to do, right? We want to convert your grams, right, to kilograms, okay? So in other words, we are moving from the smaller units, grams, to kilograms. So what do we need to do, right? We just need to divide by 1,000, okay? So that 200 grams divided by 1,000 will give you an answer in kilograms. Okay, so 200 divided by 1,000 is 0.2 kilograms. Okay, or you can look at it in this way. Okay, right? We already know that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, right? We know this. If you basically had a look at the video tutorial that I spoke about, right, about where I did your conversions, right, this is basically how I did the cooking conversions. Okay, so 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, right? So we're going to use this conversion, right, to basically help us convert the grams into kilograms. Okay, so we've got 200 grams, okay, and what do we want? You multiply by the units in kilograms. So you're going to multiply it by 1 kilogram. And then you divide it by what you have. We've got our units in grams. So we're going to divide it by the units that we already have. So it's 1,000 grams. Okay. And then what do we see here? We can just write that 200 grams as 200 grams divided by 1. That does not change anything. Okay, I just want to be dealing with fractions so that you guys can see that the grams cancel, right? Meaning that if you basically say 200 multiplied by 1 divided by 100, which is the same as just saying 200 divided by 1,000, is equal to 0.2 kilograms. Okay, so we've basically converted our grams to kilograms. All right, let's have a look at the next question. Question 1.3.3. Write down the ratio of castor sugar to brandy in its simplest form. Okay, remember in the previous in paper 1, right, they spoke about unit form. Okay, when they talk about unit form, they're basically saying that once you have to have 1 is to something, and that something will be a number in decimal form. okay, when they talk about unit form. But when they talk about simplest form, right, we're not going to have any decimals, right? And so I'm going to show you what we need to do when they talk about simplest form, okay? So just quickly, when we said unit form, we had our answer as 1 is 2. It was a decimal, maybe 4, 7, right? But in its simplest form, right, we are not going to have a decimal, right? So we need to basically have our answers as whole numbers. Okay, so we'll probably have 1 is to maybe 7, or you have 2 is to 1, or something along this line. Okay, so please pay attention. Okay, so this question tells you exactly what you need to do. You want to write the ratio of the caster sugar to the brandy. Okay, so let's write that down, right? So here we're given that the caster sugar was 60 milliliters, right? So we're going to write that down, okay? 60 milliliters, because they said, what is the ratio of the caster sugar to the brandy? So I've mentioned this even in the paper one. This question tells you exactly how you need to basically set up this ratio question, right? So the caster sugar was 60 milliliters. When you see that 2, that basically tells you that you need to have what? Your colon there. What was our brandy? Our brandy was 30 milliliters. Okay, we're going to write that down. Okay, so in other words, we've got 60 milliliters to 30 milliliters. Okay, however, remember, when we want our ratios, we want the ratios to be 1 is to something, right? So if you divide by, so I'm just going to write it as 60 is to 30, right? If you divide by 60, okay, if you divide by 60, 60 divided by 60 is 1, and 30 divided by 60 is 1 over 2. However, okay, the question says that we need to basically write down the ratio in its simplest form. So we cannot leave the answer in this form. We cannot leave it as a fraction. We cannot leave it as a decimal, right? However, you can just now multiply both sides by 2 to basically get rid of this 2 in the denominator. Therefore, the ratio of the caster sugar to the brandy is 1. Okay, and we are basically done. Question 1.3.4. Determine the number of grams of grated chocolate that will be added to the cream. Okay, so we go again to the information that was given to us in the method. Okay, they told us that you need to basically, here in points number 1, 2, 3, 4, fold in cream and add 2/3 of the grated dark chocolate. So that is how much of the grated dark chocolate we basically needed. 2/3 of it. Okay, so basically still this question tells you exactly what you need to do. We want to add 2/3 of what? The grated dark chocolate. Okay, and how much of the dark chocolate did we need? Okay, so now if you basically look at the information here, right, by the method, they told us that you need to grate 50 grams of your dark chocolate. So in other words, right, from the dark chocolates, they grated 50 grams of it. Okay, so that is basically what we need to substitute into our equation, right? So we already know that, okay, 2/3 of your grated dark chocolate, so you're just going to say 2/3. When you see that of, you multiply by how many grams of your grated dark chocolate did we basically have, right? We basically have 50 grams of your dark chocolate was grated. Okay, so we're gonna basically put that down there. Okay, and if you punch that into a calculator, 2/3 of 50 grams will give you 3.33 grams. Okay, so we have basically answered that question. So that is the number of grams that will be added to the cream. Okay, question 1.3.5. The chef started making the mousse at 11:55. At what time will it be ready for eating? Okay, so if the chef basically started making the mousse at 11:55, okay, started making the mousse at 11:55 a.m. Okay, so we already know that, okay, from the information that was given to us, you need 5 minutes for cooking time, right? So if you take that 11:55 and you add your 5 minutes for cooking time, that will basically put you at 12. Okay, that'll basically put you at 12 p.m., right? And then if you add that 10 minutes for preparation, that'll put you at 12:10 p.m. However, we are not done. We are still told that, okay, after you've basically spooned the mixture and you've put the mixture into 6 bowls and you've sprinkled the remaining grated chocolate, you need to put it into you need to put now your mixtures or your balls in the fridge for 2 hours, right? So even if everything is done, you still need to put everything in the fridge for 2 hours. So we still need to now, from that 12:10 p.m., still add your 2 hours, okay? Because 2 hours, it needs to be in the fridge, okay? So from 12:10 p.m. plus 2 hours, that will put you at 14:10, okay, p.m. We actually don't even have to write p.m. because it's 14:10, okay? But then that's where that leaves you, okay? So in other words, finishing time is going to be 11:55 plus your 10 minutes plus your 5 minutes plus your 2 hours, okay? And that will leave you at 14:10, okay? Or you can just say 2:10 p.m. Okay, so you can actually just look at it practically like that, okay? If you add 5 minutes, that puts you at 12 p.m. If you add 10 minutes, that puts you at 12:10 p.m. And then if you add 2 hours to 12:10, that puts you at 14:10 p.m. Okay, and we are basically done. Okay, how would they mark this question? Okay, you'll get 1 mark for taking your 15 minutes and dividing it by 60 minutes, right? To get 0.25 hours. So that is 2 marks, okay? Also, a quarter hours will be accepted. So you can either write a quarter or 0.25 hours. That will be accepted, okay? So that's 2 marks. Question 1.3, okay? You'll get 1 mark for just dividing the 200 by 1,000 and your final mark for your final answer of 0.2 kilograms, okay? Question 1.3. You will get 1 mark for obviously writing 60 milliliters to 30 milliliters, right? And your final mark for writing 2 is to 1, okay? Question 1.3.4. You'll get 1 mark for taking the 2 over 3 and you're multiplying it by 50 grams. And you get a final mark for 33.33 grams. Okay, question 1.3.5. You get 1 mark for obviously adding, right, your 15 minutes. And your final mark for your final answer of 14:10. Okay, so this question was basically out of 10, okay? And the whole of question 1 was out of 32 marks. Okay, so that is basically it for question 1.3. Hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. I hope I made it easy and straightforward for you guys to understand, and I hope that you guys now see how your marks are allocated so that you guys know what is expected from you guys when you are answering these questions. Please make sure that you include the units. Please make sure that you show all the bits and pieces when you're obviously doing your calculations, right? Also, make sure that you highlight all the key information from your passage so that that also just makes it easy for you guys to extract important information that is given to you guys from the passage. Okay, so that is it for question 1. In the next video tutorial, guys, we are going to be tackling question number 2, right? We're going to do the whole of question 2, right? And question 2.1 in particular deals with probability. Okay, so please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you click on that notification bell so that you do not miss a video tutorial when it drops. And also, guys, don't forget to join our Mads Gang family, right? Because on that side you'll get early access to new videos, right? You'll get a member shout outs, right? And you'll also get a members only live chats, right? And I'll also prioritize all the comments that you make. So if you've got a burning question or you do not understand something and just send me a question and you're a member, I'll make sure that I actually answer that question as fast as possible. Okay, so please make sure that you join the Maths Gang fam, right? And I'll see you guys on my next video tutorial. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.